got a jam-packed meeting as usual, and we'll do our best to be on time, and hopefully the meeting is well worth your time, and we give you a tip or two or three to help you to be better at what you do, and we're doing a good job. With that said, we have some new faculty. Becky, do you want to introduce your new faculty member?
Yes.
Becky? Becky. Okay, do you want to introduce?
Yes, I'm on. Are you able to see me?
I just see your name, so I know you're there. We have Marsha Brown. She has a lot of experience in the logistics realm of things, and she just joined us this term, so she's having a great class so far, and bringing her on for logistics and operations, and maybe some business courses. So that's Marsha. She's in Texas area, Dallas.
Hey, Marsha, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do professionally, and what your hobbies are, and take a moment to introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I grew up in Springfield, Illinois, but I moved here in 2002 into the Dallas area, and all of my professional adult career has been around logistics and supply chain management. I worked for Union Pacific Railroad for about 9 years as a train dispatcher, and then I moved here and worked for Penske Logistics for several years. And then I was recruited by Texas Workforce Commission to help them to write curriculums for warehousing and logistics training programs that are offered and supported by the state of Texas. We introduced those to some ISDs, independent school districts, as well as we partnered with Tarrant County College on that. And the funding ran out on that program. So I was unemployed, and I continued to look and look. And I found my position that I'm in now with Walmart e-commerce. I work at the first e-commerce they had in their system, which is out in Hazlet, not too far from Texas Motor Speedway. And I'm a operations manager, an area manager there. I initially started off in inbound operations, and now I'm in outbound, which handles our pick tower and our replenishment system. So that's what I do. I have a bachelor's in business management and an MBA, and that's basically what I know is logistics and supply chain.
We're so glad to have you on the team. Thank you for joining us and being a part of it. You've got some great experience. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Lacey, will you introduce yourself, your new faculty member?
Yes, we have a new faculty member named Kay Porter, and she's coming to us with a clinical background. She's a dental hygienist, and she's going to be helping us out with our anatomy and physiology classes and midterms.
Kay, are you on the phone? Are you on the call?
I'm here.
Awesome. Well, will you tell us a little bit about your professional experience, as well as tell us something fun, something that you do that's fun and unique.
Okay. I've been a dental hygienist for 24 years. I wear a whole lot of hats, which is kind of funny to me. I started in hygiene, and then I went back to school, started having a couple of problems with my hands, so I thought, and decided to get my master's. I did a dual program, so I did a MHA, which is health administration, and then I also obtained an MBA with that same program. Got back into hygiene, hands got fine, started giving me trouble probably 10 years after that. Kind of long story short, I found out that I have fibromyalgia, so I can't actually practice hygiene every day. But I started teaching for a preparatory school in Greensboro, North Carolina, 9 years ago, just on a whim. And I tell everybody the story. I wasn't even supposed to go to lunch that day with my coworkers, but they told me to come, and I got asked to send in a resume. I did, interviewed, all that great stuff. And I've been with them for the last 9 years, in addition to doing hygiene. Came out of the office permanently 4.5 years ago, because the fibro got too bad, and became a program director for a dental assisting program, and stayed with that for about 4 years. But that started, our school got sold, another school bought it. It was a whole lot of restructuring. And then some things started happening that just wasn't what I wanted to be a part of. And then 2 weeks later, I went to work for Waterpik Incorporated. So I get to talk to people all day long about oral health hygiene units. And so that's what I do now on top of teaching. I was super excited when Tracy Lee gave me a call, and I told her that day that this job was mine, because I have twin brothers, and their names are Stacy Lee and Tracy Lynn. So I knew it was God's will that, I was supposed to come and teach with Vista. But one of my fun things that I love to do is, my daughter's a flight attendant, so we like to hop on flights, go shop for a day, and then come back home, because she flies free and I get to fly at a relatively discounted price. So that's a little bit about me. And I window shop, so because there's some things that I just can't afford, but just to be able to go and see some other stuff it's really fun to do with her.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, nice to meet you. Sherry,
thank you.
New faculty member?
Yes, sir. I don't see that Erin's on yet, but she may be on the phone. Erin Etherington.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, good. Erin Etherington is our new instructor in criminal justice. She is a victim witness coordinator with the Dallas County Attorney's Office in Iowa. She also has much experience in teaching, and we are thrilled to have her experience.
Beautiful. Erin, take a moment and tell us a little bit about your background and what you do. I don't know if you go shopping or not, but if you do. Like Sherry said, I've been a victim witness coordinator for the Dallas County Attorney's Office for like the last 10 years or so. So I help victims and witnesses as their case moves forward through the system. A lot of folks don't really have a firm understanding of what to expect. So I kind of hold their hand as they go through the system. Part of my job, I also help with our state law enforcement academy. I help educate new recruits on how to interview domestic violence victims and sex abuse victims. I also help with our state attorney general with their grants. So different organizations within our state will apply for grants for different positions and programming. And so I help review those grants and decide, or help them, I guess, decide where the money gets to go. Yeah, it's pretty much how I keep busy. I have 2 kids, so when I'm not working, I'm pretty much a cheerleader for them as they're doing all different sorts of sports. And that's pretty much how I keep busy, I guess. Beautiful. Well, thank you for being the team. We're so happy that we have new faculty. We continue to grow and expand. And so, again, I love our faculty. I love the diversity of our faculty. The experiences that you all bring to the table just really help us to be a good college and a good place for our students to go and learn their new profession. So it's time for the AR Award. Let's do it this way. Carson, do you want to flash the AR Award? Would you mind? You there, Carson? I think you are. I saw you earlier. Carson? There it comes. So we did it just a little different. Normally we recognize an individual contributor, but we thought this time of year we're grateful for a lot of things. But one of the things that I'm personally grateful for is the faculty, the quality of faculty that we have, and for all that you do. And so we want to, as an administration, recognize each and every one of you for your contributions and for what you do. Sherry, would you take a moment and talk about your faculty and say what you want to say?
We have an amazing faculty, and I know I push them very hard, and they probably prefer that I not say anything stressful today. No, I'm just kidding. They are an amazing group of people, and they really do go above and beyond. And I think this is an opportunity to thank them all for everything they do for us every day, and for the students, creating opportunities.
Thank you, Sherry. Becky?
Yeah, I'm just grateful for the team and staff that I have, and we all come together and know the goals of the students and Vista, and excited to see where we're going. And we work together to see how we can help the students, and I'm grateful for all of their input and insight into classes, and just their participation and everything that they're doing for our students and help each other out. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Tracy?
I just want to say thank you all to my staff and faculty, just for everything that you do. Obviously, we could not do it without you guys. I know it's been, our classes are growing and growing and growing. So you all have continued to learn new things and have been successful in doing so. And we thank you for everything that you do.
We're truly grateful, truly grateful. We appreciate everything. Dr. Waller, is Jack on the video call? I'm not sure.
He is in the office with me.
He's with you. Okay. Would you mind introducing Jack?
Sure, absolutely. Please join me in welcoming Jack Kane to our organization. He's going to be the Senior Vice President of Online Operations. We're excited to have him on board. He has a tremendous amount of senior level experience in our industry. Most recently, he launched Robertson Online University up in Canada. That was a very, very big success. Prior to that, he was with Colorado Technical University, really the most successful part of the CEC organization, and did very, very well. I believe the school had over 23,000 online students with it. So outside of that, he's been involved with any number of different equity groups, putting different things together. He's been brought in to reclaim a number of schools and then help them to grow. So we're excited to have him on board in that capacity. And I'll give him an opportunity to say a few words to everybody. Jack?
Thank you, Art. Good afternoon, everyone.
Can we turn the cameras so that
you're gonna insist on that, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, why not?
All right, well, you asked for it.
Larry, you are a hard man.
There we go. Now we can see you. Jack, meet Vista College's faculty. Go ahead.
I love his haircut. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah, okay. So, I've spent a little bit of time with several of you, so good to see your faces and get another chance to chat with you. What I really want to focus on is the core of what any online school does is looking at me on this screen. If we don't do the very best job of training these students on how to do a job, we fail. One of the biggest problems in the industry is early on was we spent all our time focusing on the front end of the business. And you know what, we'll just bring more students in and if they make it, great, and we'll worry about that stuff later. And they never did. And it caused a lot of problems throughout the industry, and it's still causing problems. So when I first met Art back in June, and Larry and Art and I went through what you all have built, I was really impressed with it. So when I got the opportunity to come and join the team, I am very comfortable with what you all are doing. The platform you built is outstanding. How you measure the student performance is as good as I've seen. So I feel really good about what we do. Now we can work on the, growing the front end of the business and making sure that the placements get done properly. But the core of what this college is all about is you all and the curriculum that you build. So my hat's off to all of you and what you've got, and hopefully we can continue to build out new programs and create more opportunities for people. One area I'd like to work on is connecting the front, the middle, and the back of this whole operation. Because we need the front end people, the admissions and financial aid people, to really understand the power of what you have built, whether it's curriculum or the platform itself or the quality of the instruction, and that we can assure them they are going to learn certain things that will help them do the job that they really want to do when they get out. And then working with the career services folks to really understand what is coming through that pipeline and being able to proudly present people to employers and gather more employers to give our student graduates the best opportunities that we can find. And then completing that loop, my goal, and what I've always tried to do with schools, is that how I measure our success is whether the employers that hire our grads come back to get more of our grads because they're so thrilled with the performance of the ones they've hired. That tells me we've done everything we need to do to help those students achieve their goals, and we're helping businesses achieve theirs. That to me is what this whole thing is all about. So if we can make sure that the information that career services is gathering from employers is getting back to the front of the business. So if we're doing something really well, we need to make sure the admissions people are telling new people that we're doing something really well. And if there's something else in there that we could do better, that information is getting to you all so we can improve the curriculum, so we're producing the types of grads that these employers want to hire. That's how I mean, it's as simple as that, but it's as hard as that. So, we've got a reaffirmation visit coming up next week, and everything I've heard from Art and Larry and Sarah and others, it sounds like we're pretty much ready for it. And we know we've got some opportunities on the outcome side of things, but the trend that I've seen is really positive. And, the next time they come visit, there won't be any issues that we have to work around. So, I'm really happy to be here. Looking forward to working with y'all, and my door and phone are always open. So if you want to talk, please give me a shout. And I'll take any questions if you want.
Questions for Jack, anybody?
Sherry, I can't believe you don't have a question.
Oh, she has questions. Trust me.
I know who Ray Rayner is, by the way.
I do not have any questions.
Okay. Do you know Bob Bell?
Oh, yes. Yes, I had to think about that one. I feel bad bringing all my Chicago knowledge to all of you.
I'm from Chicago, by the way, so that's why I know.
Yes. And Ron Reinhardt, who's also not on mute, is also from the Chicago area.
Well,
right, Ron?
Jack,
yes.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yes, I am. And I was actually on Ray Rayner when I was 18 years old.
All right, cool.
All right, I'll date myself, but I was on Bozo Circus when I was 8.
I love Bozo.
Oh, and I was there when I was 5 years old. So.
There you guys. Well, Jack, thank you.
Well,
The tickets took like 15 years to get in the 70s. You would have like a 15-year wait to get on Bozo Circus.
Absolutely. One of the people we went with actually got picked to do the little ping pong ball toss.
Yeah, that was a good game.
That is the best.
All right. Well, let's get Jack. Thank you for being here today. I'm glad that you get to meet our faculty. They are truly the secret sauce to what we do, and I tell them that all the time. They make the difference. One of the reasons why our outcomes are improving is because of the work that they do and putting things together. Jack mentioned that we do have the ACCSE visit next week on Thursday and Friday. So if you see somebody peeking into your class, don't panic. It's okay. They're going to look and see what's going on and see how the students are engaging, see how you're engaging with students and students are engaging with you, and just looking at the structure. So no worries. Don't feel bad. I don't anticipate that you'll get a question from the evaluators. The program directors probably will, and I know I will, but if you get a call or if somebody asks you a question, tell them the truth, because you do good things and you know what you're doing. But just be aware it's happening. We've been working towards this for well over a year now, and as Dr. Waller will tell you, and Jack told you, we really are prepared. We're proud of what we're doing, and we're proud of the progress that we're making. And our graduation rate our retention rate's gone sky high. Once again, we're leading the entire organization in terms of retention, which is absolutely outstanding. And with retention comes improved graduation rates. We're seeing that improve. I think Dirk said that we're 50% of where we are in the first 4 months in terms of graduation rate, which is just wonderful, folks. We're doing what we set out to do. So that's happening. With that, Tanya, do you want to take a quick roll call, and then we'll move into Sherry's presentation?
Sure. If I call your name and you're here, just let me know, please. Amanda Hardwick. Corey Ellis.
She's not going to be here.
Okay. Cynthia Bennett.
I'm here.
Thank you, Cynthia. David Powell.
He's here. I just saw him.
Okay, thank you. Dennis. Doug Bristow.
Doug Bristow is here and present.
Thank you. Gina Sanchez.
I'm here.
Thanks. Glenda Lloyd. Kristen Mercer.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Kristen.
Who just said I'm here?
That was
This is
Glenda.
Glenda.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
This is Kristen Mercer.
Okay, thank you. Christy Westmont.
Kristen Mercer.
Yes, I got you, Christy. Kristen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay. Christy Westmont. Lisa Banks.
Lisa said she might not make it.
Okay. Melvin Landry. Rick McElroy. Ryan Sharp. Sandy McDonald.
I'm here.
Thanks, Sandy. And Trudy Thomas. Okay, thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Tanya. I appreciate it.
Excuse me. This is Marcia Brown. She didn't call my name.
I show that you're here, Marcia, already. If I didn't call your name, I've already got you down.
Okay, thank you.
We can see you're here, and some of the ones that are on the phone are the ones that we have to ask the questions. So thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Well, Sherry, it's my privilege to introduce Sherry. She gets to do the developmental section of our faculty meeting. And so with that, the time is yours, Sherry. Everybody else, please mute until maybe she'll call on you to ask a question. But if you'll mute so that we can keep the noise down, that'd be appreciated. Go ahead, Sherry.
Thank you. I have promised Larry that I will not keep anybody over time. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on my time. We are going to talk about my favorite topic, which is engaging students. I know that I send emails out to everybody and everybody probably sees this all the time, but I want to talk about some ways that we can better engage our students. One of the important things is, again, creating opportunities for our students, and one of the ways to do it is to engage them and get them active in class. I wanted to talk about just a little start, the concept of active learning, which is, I mean, I could go about for hours, but John Dewey originally brought it up, and it's talking about how the book is no longer the instructor. It's really that interactiveness between the student and the teacher. A lot of times you'll see our students need to have that extra step. They need to have that teacher interaction. So we'll talk about some ways in order to do that. You all know some of the challenges with online motivation. Without face-to-face, it's hard to get the nonverbal cues. You can't share their emotions easier. It's harder to express enthusiasm, encouragement, or concern. Kind of the anonymous feeling. So one of the things we're going to talk about is how to make sure that when we do connect with students in our conversations, whether they be in email, in person, by Zoom call, by on the phone, however we can phrase our information to make sure that students are getting the enthusiasm for the course. And a lot of it comes from just making sure that we share our excitement. And I've used some examples in this presentation. You'll see some examples of things that you yourselves, teachers, have done, because that's where I get the information to show sometimes when somebody else does something well. It gives us all motivation or encouragement or even an idea of something we can build on. Again, the web, although you don't have that one-on-one interaction in a classroom, we have flexibility, interactivity, creativity. A lot of teachers are now working on things like videos. I just saw earlier today that Mark Pareda, I'm going to totally mispronounce his last name, is doing video intros for each one of his weeks. And those are the types of things we can do to get students excited about getting involved in the classroom. So generally, we're going to talk about, again, how we motivate our online students to be involved in active learning, to get them motivated, to stay motivated. And as you can tell by some of the emails I send out, and even this presentation is, sometimes it's more than words on a page. Sometimes it takes photos, and it takes pictures, and it takes little phrases and things that we can use to get people motivated. I would open it up, but again, I promised that I would stay on time. So I'm going to just talk about things. And then if we have time at the end, or if you come up with questions, please feel free to interrupt me, and we'll do some talking about specific questions you might have. We know that our students, sometimes you can be intrinsically or extrinsically motivated. And it's hard to realize how our students are motivated. And the way that we look at this, some students, of course, the easiest is if you're motivated by grades, then it's obviously going to be easy to motivate them, because if they get good grades, they're going to be motivated. Some of the other students, we're going to need to look at how we motivated them, whether it's a challenge in the classroom, whether or not they're doing it for someone else. I know that sometimes even talking about a student, when you get to know them and when you develop that one-on-one relationship, it makes it easier to figure out how they're motivated. I've had students, as you all have, where you find out they're motivated by making a difference or becoming a role model for their children, or changing their life, or maybe they're motivated by making more money, which is certainly, getting a career and making more money is certainly a way of motivation that we can certainly work on and encourage students. So once you find out that information, make a note of it. Write it in Dropout Detective, write it on your notepad. Make sure you keep that in mind for when you talk to the student the next time and work on that. It is found that teachers' attitude is a major factor in student success. The more enthusiastic and dynamic teachers were, the more engaged students became cognitively and emotionally. I put this little cartoon in here because it's true. Video problems are much more engaging than writing on a chalkboard. I mean, how many of us have seen a bunch of words on a page and just rolled our eyes and been like, okay, we'll catch up later? We are living in a generation where students are used to seeing constant videos, constant visual stimulation. So the more we can work with students where they are and not where we think maybe they should be, the more likely we are to get success. And the more excited you get about the topic. I know that when you go into a classroom and someone is excited about something, you can tell, even if it's an online classroom, you can tell from their intro video, from their weekly videos, from the way they talk on the discussion board. That is contagious. And when you get people excited about that, I have seen this month actually, a lot of discussion boards are just taking off, and the teachers are starting early and they're getting students involved, and we're getting full participation by Wednesday. For a long time, that was unheard of. So the more you get excited about that topic and the more you get students talking and giving them the feedback, the more likely they are to participate and succeed. Cornell University did a study. They have the same teacher teach the same topic twice. The only difference between it was in one, he used a more enthusiastic voice. In the second course, when he used the more enthusiastic voice, the students not only rated the teacher higher, they felt they learned more just from getting excited about the topic. Same topic, same class, same assignments, just because the teacher was excited about the topic. So we'll make sure that when we go into our subjects, when you're offered an assignment, make sure it's something you feel passionately about and that you feel comfortable teaching, and that will relate to the students. The students will appreciate that. I'm going to talk about some ways students engaging in the online platform. It is not only the discussion boards that you have a way to engage those online students. There are other ways, of course, to engage those students. Let's start with the welcome message. A lot of people have used canned fillers. Why? Because it's easy. Because you use it this month and next month and the next month after that. One of the things that we'd like to see, and I think that you'll have more engagement if you do, is take that welcome and use it to show enthusiasm for the subject. Many of you are hired because you have experience in that field and you have a passion for working in that field. Tell your students that. Tell them what you do. Tell them an interesting story. Again, keep in mind the confidentiality laws, don't use names, but tell them an interesting story. Get them interested for working in that field and with that subject. So for example, if you're teaching a course on victimology and you can share a story of working with a victim that day or working with a victim recently or something that really stands out to you in the field, go ahead and use that in your welcome. It doesn't have to be just broad filler material of things that you think you need to say, because those will also be in the syllabus. So make sure you make it personal and make students feel like you are a partner in their education. You want an opportunity to take that relationship and start building from day one. And I know many of you, I try to make sure that I give you all the phone numbers a few days before class starts. It's not always possible, but I try to make sure I give it to you. And I know lots of you have made that personal connection before the class even opens. And again, that's crucial to getting day one to get students started, because in a 5-week class, every day matters. It's not you can wait till the Monday or the Sunday of week 1 to begin. We got to start at first day. So video welcomes are great. Then students can see you and make a connection. If you can, of course, I've seen teachers have early Zoom meetings. If that's something you feel like you can do, by all means, please feel free. and showing excitement. Again, even if it's in written form, showing that it's a subject you care about makes a huge difference to students. Again, that welcome message is important. Don't make it just repeat the course syllabus. Talk about an online or the connections that you make. I have put some welcomes in here. You will get a copy of this presentation. Either Tanya or Sarah will send it out. So I'm not going to read the welcome messages that I've included, but I think that these, the ones I've included here, kind of bring you a step closer. This one is about a communications class. And in the first paragraph, they set on, why do I have to take it? You'll find in the general education classes, sometimes students will be like, why? Why do I need to take math? Tell them why. I mean, it's more than just because it's a requirement. I once asked a teacher who teaches geometry why in the world anybody in the world would need geometry. And she said, it's not about geometry per se, it's about logical and critical thinking. And somehow proofs assist you in logical critical thinking. I would have never realized that if a teacher hadn't explained it to me. So maybe spell out why the student needs this in their future career. Because each one of these classes and each one of these topics have been picked because they will help in their future career. And that's one of the things we need to make sure. From day one, start pushing, this is why you need this for your career, for your future. So definitely things to think about. Here's another example of a welcome message. They make sure they share what they share when things are due, but they also get excited about the topic and when what they can do to help them. They make sure that they point out writing assignments take time. This class may take more time than other classes have before. So make sure that you get in there and tell them about that. Discussion boards. Again, if you're excited about the discussion boards, you're far more likely to participate. Discussion board topics most of them have been chosen because they are exciting and they do tend to incite participation. And so that's one of the reasons we have these. Teachers should always be the first one to post on that discussion board because students don't always feel comfortable being the first one to post. They want to see what's going on. What is it time to post? I don't want to be first. I don't want to be wrong. So if a teacher takes that first step and posts, and I generally tell people, you can post all your first discussion board posts before the class even starts because then you'll be first. So when you're setting up the class, put a discussion board post in, then it's already there. You don't have to worry about it every Monday morning. It's already there and already ready to go. And it starts to get the students thinking, hey, this is discussion board time. We can start to talk. The more excited you get about the topic, the more excited they'll get. Bring up, sometimes the topic will lend itself to a story in the field. I've seen many of you put in some great stories from the field about your topic, how it matters to that student's life and future career. This is an initial post by an instructor that I found in one of the classes, and it was the first week of class. And it talks about, it was in one of the early classes, and it talks about some things that students may be concerned about adjusting to class. And these are some tips for handling their new environment: setting a schedule, asking questions, creating online study groups, setting aside time. Again, in those first classes, we all know what discussion groups are because we've taught for years, but a lot of the students don't, and we have to meet them where they are. And so, maybe start your first, if you're teaching an entry-level class or one of the first classes that a student takes, maybe start by talking about what the discussion board is for, because unless they actually have done it before, they may not know the discussion board is not just another paper they have to do. It's their classroom time. It is their time to get together and to learn from each other. Because I have to tell you, I've learned so much from other students that have posted on the discussion board, sometimes more than you learn from a textbook, because they've actually, either they've been in the field or they've had experience in it, or they're just looking in a different way. So definitely push that discussion board as more than just, you know, another assignment you have to jump on and you have to do. Offering live chats is an opportunity to connect with your students. I know that some of you have done this and have had success doing it. The more we start to offer these live chats, the more students will start to participate, the more they'll realize it's good for them. We all, you know, have so many restraints on our time and things that we need to do. And I know that, you know, we put off the thing that doesn't matter, but if we can make these live chats with students educational, important, not just, hey, here's my name, here's who I am, but also here's some information that will help you with class. Here's an opportunity to discuss the topics that we've talked about and make sure you understand. Here's some help with an assignment that students have had difficulty with. The more you make these live chats helpful to students, the more likely students are to attend and to tell their friends to attend. And again, make it interesting, make it worthwhile to our students. Value their time like you value your own time. Inject some fun into the classroom, whether the discussion board or announcements. Have some fun. The internet is filled with photo clips, video clips. You can have a little fun. Now keep it appropriate for a classroom, but a little bit of humor has never hurt anyone. The internet is filled with animated graphics, photos, course-related, motivating content, videos. It's amazing what you'll find online. I had motivational videos, and I usually set up my announcements before the class starts. And I have motivational videos at least, or motivational videos or messages, usually 3 times a week. Now, all students won't read them all. That's fine. At least it's there in case they're feeling a little down or they're feeling like giving up. There's something there to motivate them. And I think I sent all of my teachers the video about how to boil a frog. It sounds a little goofy, but it's motivational. Larry likes to say, you know, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. Sometimes that initial syllabus can seem completely overwhelming, but if they break it down into smaller pieces, it's doable. There isn't a class that we have that isn't doable if you break it down. And sometimes they just need to remember that. So whatever you can do to help them get motivated, make it fun, make it motivational. Again, the discussion boards, you can decide where you want to go with them. If the question is, what's your favorite book? Probably not the best question, but you can go somewhere with that. You can move forward from that. You can move it to, you know, what's your favorite book that was made into a movie? What kind of, what attracts you most to this genre of book? You can decide where you go from that. And so even if you start as a kind of, you know, 1-sentence answer, you can take it further. Add a video with people talking about their favorite books. Add messages. Talk about your favorite books and how that relates. Talk about how books have changed over time. Whatever you get that makes that continue and students want to keep talking. The discussion board, in my opinion, should be places that students are like, everybody has a Facebook page. And on Facebook, everybody has a discussion, or they'll be like arguing about something or discussing something, and everybody wants to log on to see what the next 2 posts next and what they post. That's what I'd like to see many of our discussion boards get to, is places that people want to check, not that they're forced to check. And some of the ones I've seen lately have really gotten to that point, and I wanted to put a whole discussion board in the slideshow, but that was a little too word heavy, and none of you would have read it. So I had to skip that, but make sure that your discussion board is in that level that students want to check it. Tools we can use: TED Talks, YouTube, posting articles from the internet, bring in current events, and social media. There are certainly lots of tools that you can use to make it more exciting in your discussion board. We talked about creating a weekly summary. Send an email to students summarizing what they learned that week, including posts from the discussion board that were relevant and on point. I haven't seen many teachers utilize this, and I'm telling you, as an online student, I did a couple classes for my master's online, and everybody loves to see their post. Everybody loves to have the kudos. Everybody loves to be the student that, hey, look, mine was so good that I made the weekly summary. And students will strive for that. So if you have the opportunity, which we all do unless I'm mistaken, to create that weekly summary and to get students, again, involved in the topic. And it has the bonus effect of if a student is behind, they look at the topic and they say to themselves, oh, that's super interesting. That is definitely something I wanted to talk about. I can't believe I missed that. And maybe they'll go back in and to make up late assignments. And so again, the more we keep them active and the more we keep them excited, the more likely they are to be involved. Send reminders to keep students on track. Course calendar with deadlines. Also, the Remind app that we've talked about before is a great tool. Students use it. It helps them remember. Again, you want to make sure you don't use it every single day. Nobody wants, eventually they'll block you. But if you, make that, make reminders of, hey, it's Wednesday, or hey, it's Sunday night. Sometimes it's easy to forget it's Wednesday. I have to tell you, during Halloween week, I didn't realize it was Wednesday night on Halloween until I was like, oh, it's Wednesday. Because you're thinking Halloween, you're not thinking discussion board day. And so a lot of times and with the holidays coming up, more and more students are going to be having that problem. Thanksgiving week, we have class. We do not have the week off. Students are required to post in class. And so, it's going to be a lot of reminders and a lot of, hey, let's post early so we can enjoy Thursday. Or, hey, let's post early so we can enjoy the weekend. Because a lot of students will just take off that week, and we need to make sure they get their work done before they go instead of after. Also, it's important to think of the words we use. Choose your wording to deliberately reach out to students. Let me know if you've got questions, or what questions do you have, versus I'm happy to help with questions. It's best if you can touch base well before the deadline so we can sort through any questions before the weekend. Both of them are fine, but sometimes just what questions do you have? Because if a student hasn't completed an assignment yet, maybe it's because they have questions and they're just scared to ask. So we want to make sure that we make them feel comfortable and that questions are okay and there's nothing wrong with asking. Midterm reports. There is no form for these. We really expect you to try to make personal contact with the student. I would rather these be done by phone call or by conference call or Zoom call or Skype call or whatever. But if you can't reach a student, you have to put them in an email. Make sure that you are using the most words to encourage. We want encouraging words here. So for example, don't start by saying the phrase, you have a 4% in this class, you will never pass, try next time. Start with, hey, I want to tell you about what you've done. My favorite line from this one that I've included, and again, you will get a copy of these, please let me start by thanking you for the work you've put into this point. These are the two things you want to focus on. Focus on getting your work in on time. Second, make sure you communicate. So if you're not going to do something, let's talk about it. Here's a motivational video. This to me is, if you have to do it in writing, this is one of the best midterm reports. You've got, again, positive, focus. Notice they don't mention the grade, which to me makes it pretty clear the student is not doing well. When a student has a 10% in class, they know that. They don't need you to tell them they have a 10%. They need you to tell them what they can do to be successful. So I included this one. This is another one. I have no doubt your grade will increase significantly after you get these assignments submitted, as your work product is outstanding. Again, you're talking about, you can do this. You know how to do this. Communicate with me. And these are actually just parts of these emails. I didn't include the whole thing, but you kind of get the idea. And my favorite part from this one is, imagine this class as your job. Your classmates are your work friends. Your instructors become your supervisors. Failure to properly communicate will lead to alienation among your peers and negative evaluations from your supervisors. You should be practicing what it takes to be a professional now, so it comes naturally once you get in your career. again, focus on that career, get excited, talk about them. And look, Larry didn't think I was going to do it on time. He doesn't realize I talk so fast. Final thoughts. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. That is what I'd like to leave you with, because the more excited you are and the more you push students and get excited about the topic, the more likely you are that students are also going to get excited and dedicated about what they do. And that is how we create opportunities and change lives. Whew. Larry, I told you I could do it in time. He didn't think I could. Any questions?
Great job, Sherry. Great job.
I know I talk fast. It's part of the, Chicago thing.
Oh, that's okay. So, if I could summarize, pay attention to the look, sound, and feel of your courses. And, if you just remember look, sound, and feel, and then try to salt and pepper those courses, discussion boards, whatever, with things that help the look and help the sound and the feel of the course, that's a big deal. That'll go a long ways. It's a simple little way to remember how to make your courses more engaging. I love the idea of a weekly summary, but I would encourage you to do that. What 3 things did you learn this week, and how will you use them in the workplace? Notice how we try to, take the concept and say, how can you use what you're learning in the workplace? That's really important, that we set that mindset along the way, that you're learning these things so that you can get a job. And that, to us, is what student success is all about. I want to remind us that that is probably the most important thing you can do, is always relate what they're learning to how it's going to be used in the workplace. Try to do that as much as you possibly can. Sherry, I'm really grateful. It's a nice presentation. I know you're going to share it with everyone. Any comments before we conclude the meeting? Comments, questions?
This is Kate Porter. I have a question.
Yes.
So I know she was saying to go ahead and post your discussions beforehand, or actually have the instructor do the first post. And that's what I've been trying to do with my course. But the way that mine is set, I actually have the students, they have to post before they can see their classmates post. Is that a good idea, or should they be able to see what their classmates have posted prior to them being able to post? Does that make sense?
I understand.
Go ahead, Sherry, comment.
I understand how you've got that set, because it is certainly a way that many schools do it. We do not do that here. So unless there's some reason, and I'm sorry, I don't know actually who's talking, but you might want to talk to your program director about your specific circumstances. But I wouldn't suggest—
This is Kate Porter. Tracy Lee is my—
Yeah, I wouldn't do it any different, because students kind of get used to the routine and then they'll think it's broken. So I don't, unless there's a circumstance that you and Tracy have discussed, that yours is something different.
Okay. I think it's set like that. I'm not sure.
Usually
I think it is, but okay, then it may not be, because that was one of my questions. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have it. I wanted to make sure I had it the right way, that Vista does it and not how somebody else does it.
Yeah, a lot of schools do it differently. We like to make sure that everybody can learn from each other.
Okay.
We'll share, because the dialogue, how people learn, is that inner exchange is what makes it happen. But to Sherry's point, what I've seen successful is a faculty member. We have a discussion question there, but the faculty member will set up the discussion question so that it starts the dialogue. And I think that's what Sherry's talking about. So,
okay.
Dr. Waller, will you conclude the meeting?
Absolutely, Dr. Banks. Jack and I would like to say thank you for your great work that you do in the classroom. To Larry's point, really what we're about, our mission is to talk about them getting a job and a career right in the admissions process. We hope that that carries through as they engage in our curriculum and engage in, with our faculty. And then the idea is to have them find a better life on the other end with a successful placement in a career and a job that they choose to be in. Larry, it's always great having you lead the group. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate all of our faculty. It's really the arena of which we need to be the best at in order to be successful with our school. And the results are saying that and suggesting that. And again, we're very grateful for your leadership and your engagement with our students. So thank you.
Well, thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.